Dear shareholders, good afternoon and welcome you all to the 31st Annual General Meeting of Tata Elxsi Limited through video conferencing or other audiovisual facility. As a reminder, for the smooth conduct of the meeting, the members will be in the mute mode and the audio and video will be enabled when they are called upon to speak at the AGM as per the pre-registration. Please note that, as per the requirements, the proceedings of the annual general meeting will be recorded and available on the website of the company. I now hand over the proceedings to Mr. G. Vaidyanathan, Company Secretary and General Counsel of Tata Elxsi Limited.
Thank you. I, G. Vaidyanathan, Company Secretary of Tata Elxsi Limited, extend a warm welcome to you all to the 31st Annual General Meeting of the company, being held through video conference in adherence to the Government of India directives and to maintain social distance under the testing times. Pursuant to the MCA circulars, the notice along with annual report of the company was sent to all the shareholders whose emails are available with the depositories, company and the registrar. Further, at the AGM is being held through VC. The appointment of proxies have been dispensed with. In terms of the provision of the Companies Act and SEBI LODR, the company has facilitated the shareholders the option of voting to all the businesses as mentioned in the notice by way of remote e-voting, which opened on 17th July and closed on 20th July. Also, for the benefits of the members who have not voted through remote e-voting may cast their vote during the AGM by way of e-voting on the NSDL platform. Members may access the relevant documents that is required to be kept under the Companies Act by logging into the NSDL e-voting portal. Now I request Mr. N.G. Subramaniam, Chairman, to please take it over from here. Sir, thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Vaidyanathan. Good afternoon to all of you, and let me at the outset welcome all of you to this annual general meeting of Tata Elxsi Limited. In adherence to the government and to maintain the necessary social distance of the 31st AGM of Elxsi Limited, the same thing is being conducted through video conference. All the directors of the board and the representatives of BSR and Company LLP, statutory auditors, and the secretarial auditor have joined the meeting remotely. Let me begin by introducing the directors. Mrs. Shyamala Gopinath,
Shyamala Gopinath, joining from my residence in Mumbai. I'm an independent director and chairman of the audit committee.
thank you, ma'am. Professor M.S. Ananth,
I am Professor M.S. Anand, joining this meeting from Chennai. I am an independent director in the company.
thank you, sir. Mr. Sudhakar Rao,
Good afternoon. I am Sudhakar Rao, independent director in the company and also the chairman of the Stakeholders Relationship Committee. I am joining the AGM through video conferencing facility from a residence in Bangalore.
thank you, sir. Mr. Ankur Verma,
Hi, my name is Ankur Verma. I am the director of the company. I am joining this meeting from my residence in Mumbai. Thank you.
thank you, sir. Mr. Manoj Raghavan,
Hi, I am Manoj Raghavan. I am the MD and CEO of Tata Elxsi. I am joining from our headquarters in Bangalore.
thank you, Manoj. As the requisite quorum is present, with your permission, I now call the meeting to order. In terms of the MCA notifications, as the shareholders are allowed to join the AGM personally through VC or other audio visual means, the necessity of appointing proxies is dispensed with. I would like to mention that those shareholders who are pre-registered with the company will be called upon one by one to post their questions and queries during the question and answer session. Let me now present to the shareholders the performance of the company. Dear shareholders, good afternoon. As your chairman, it's my pleasure to be with you all at the 31st annual general meeting of the company. On behalf of the board of directors and everyone at Tata Elxsi, let me extend a warm welcome to all of you and take this opportunity to thank you for your continued support, trust and confidence. It has been an honor to be your chairman. It has been an enriching experience to work closely with my co-directors, the senior management team, and some of you who keep sending me text messages and inspire me. The annual report for the year ended 31st March 2020, along with the director's report and audited annual accounts of the company have been shared with you, and may I request that these be taken as read. The COVID-19 pandemic has made a huge impact across the globe on people's life, and much has been said about it in many forums and channels. Your company put the safety of our employees first, worked diligently to serve our clients with resiliency under very difficult circumstances, as well as we pitched in to help communities as they battle the pandemic. We are witnessing changes already in the way we all conduct our daily life. Business is no different, and it is likely to stay that way for good. Let me outline a few of those. Working remotely has become the new norm. Shopping for essentials have gone online. Education has become largely digital, and web-based health consultation has matured and acceptable to the insurance companies. Cloud, internet, automation, and collaboration technologies have proved their worth and beyond doubt proven that they are scalable. The virus is likely to coexist with us for some time. Some put it at least another 12 to 18 months until a vaccine is found and the world has been vaccinated. And so, may I request all of you to please do take all the known precautions and stay safe. I would now like to outline the salient aspects of your company's performance for the financial year 2019-20. The total income during the year under review increased modestly by 1.7% from 1,640 crores in the previous year to 1,668 crores. The profit before tax decreased from 433 crores in the previous year to 352 crores. The profit after tax was 256 crores against 290 crores during the last year. This performance needs to be seen in light of the challenges faced in the global automotive sector, geopolitical uncertainties in major markets related to trade and Brexit, besides currency volatility right through the last financial year, as well as the investments the company is making. Your company has been investing in key digital technologies over the past couple of years in areas such as artificial intelligence, analytics, Internet of Things, and automation, which have helped enhance the services portfolio not only for our existing customers, but also to win new customers across the world. Your company has been executing a diversification strategy over the last 6 quarters to mitigate the auto industry downturn, reducing the reliance on our top 3 customers, among others. Our diversification strategy is yielding results. This has resulted in the new customer acquisitions, entering new industry segments like medical devices, redeployment of resources, and the automotive segment now contributes less than half of our revenues. We have expanded our offerings across verticals and strengthened our footprint in key markets, coupled with excellent operational management. Our industrial design and visualization business continues to deliver integrated services for customers, along with the technology and software development business, enabling differentiation and added value, even as it addresses independent design projects in other sectors such as FMCG and consumer appliances. In the past few months, we were compelled to work in new ways and new ways and operating models at such large scale with such a short notice. We were agile and nimble in adapting to these changes. We also, in parallel, continue to update our business continuity plans to minimize any disruptions to the services we deliver to our clients. We have taken comprehensive measures to enable effective work from home by our employees, including devices, secure remote network access, and collaboration technologies. What is more pleasing is that we have not let any of this hamper our customer commitments. Our customers have come back appreciating and thanking us for transitioning with minimum or no disruptions whatsoever and standing by them in these difficult times. Our customers well respect the talent and intellect of our over 6,500 employees across the globe. Needless to say that your company's performance during FY 19-20 is primarily due to the commitment and passion of this diverse and global pool of employees. Your company undertakes significant initiatives to increase workforce effectiveness and efficiency through leadership training, performance management, talent development, diversity and inclusion, equal opportunity policies, as well as great deal of employee engagement. The company and its employees take pride to serve the community in which we operate. We have two flagship programs in line with two key needs of the society. Shiksha is the first one. This is an umbrella program for enabling education and research. Our visits to rural schools and local educational institutions underscored the systemic shortcomings and the crying need for enabling the right kind of education. We are aiming to impact the lives of hundreds of students through these initiatives. Under this program, last year we sponsored undergraduate studies for 30 deserving girls for creating employability. This is the fourth year that we have been sponsoring this. School education for 50 differently abled children, a unique performance art-based holistic development center for spastic children. As a part of the 2-year project, we have sponsored setting up an artificial intelligence lab for Indian Institute of Science, which is being used for the new MTech course they started on artificial intelligence. As part of a 2-year engagement, we have sponsored IIT in Chennai for cutting-edge research on areas of national importance like network and systems analytics and application of AI and ML techniques, creating the architecture and building blocks for the next generation communication systems. The second program is called Niramai. The program is for providing financial help for life-saving treatments, primarily for neuro, heart, and cancer patients. We are aiming to help upwards of 17,500 patients each year. The activities undertaken as part of this program include associated with 7 government and charitable hospitals across the country, running a set of clinics at a large slum in Bangalore, running mobile clinics to treat poor rural patients through a hospital. With regard to the COVID-19 pandemic, we prioritized our activities towards the same this financial year and earmarked a significant sum out of our CSR funds towards the same. Some of the initiatives supported by the company include: we delivered over 35,000 surgical masks, 8,500 N95 masks, hundreds of PPE kits, 1,250 liters of sterilium liquid and 5,000 liters of sodium hypochlorite solution to Sasan Hospital, Pune, to enhance their preparedness and for the isolation wards and ICU. Likewise, we enabled Bangalore Baptist Mission Hospital to procure masks, gloves, aprons, and so on. Provided food to all the doctors and support staff of the Victoria Hospital, Bangalore during the lockdown period through Taj Public Service Welfare Trust. Sponsored the cost of 2 ventilators to General Hospital in Trivandrum. Overall, let me address the business environment as we see it today. Your company operates in select industries such as automotive, healthcare, media and communications, and transportation. These are all subject to cyclical trends based on consumer demand and consumption patterns, the impact of regulations as well as technology disruptions, not to mention the pandemic. In terms of geographical markets, we work with the customers in North America, Europe, Japan, and in Asia Pacific. While the pandemic-related economic downturn, unemployment posed a challenging business environment, The industry and our clients believe that the digital adoption is crucial and they are wanting to accelerate the digitalization deeper into their organization so that they can extend the capabilities and create ecosystems and be purpose-driven. It is quite evident that enterprises that have invested in digital, customer experience and embraced automation were found to be a lot more resilient in the current situation. In this context, technology spent by customers across verticals are set to remain stable, providing opportunities for services companies like Tata Elxsi to pivot themselves and engage with customers better. Your company is investing in strengthening capabilities in the development of electric vehicles, including control software development, battery management systems and validation. We continue to invest in the development of intellectual property in select areas to create new monetization opportunities and demonstrate expertise in specific areas in the field of electric vehicles as a future area of growth. With the penetration of high-speed internet, 5G, smart devices and content flooding in the market, the borders between entertainment, media and telecommunications are disappearing. New services such as smart connected homes and OTT are creating new revenue opportunities for operators as well as broadcasters. Tata Elxsi works with leading broadcasters and operators to create solutions for smarter living, engaged entertainment and a digital future driven by IoT, analytics and artificial intelligence, thereby enabling new revenue streams and enhanced customer experience. The new growth paradigm requires a strategy and business model that will package, design, customer insights and experience, implementation to post-delivery delight, all to be carefully packaged. Tata Elxsi brings together this unique capability of integrated design and technology teams across verticals to drive growth and delivery innovation for our clients. Our diversification strategy also includes scaling our business through organic and inorganic means where it makes sense. As you all aware, Mr. Madhukar Dev, CEO and Managing Director, retired from the company on 1st of October 2019 in terms of the Tata policy as applicable to the Managing Directors and Executive Directors. The board placed on record their appreciation for the exemplary leadership of Mr. Dev during his services with the company, and we wish him the very best for the future. Mr. Manoj Raghavan, who has been with the company for more than 2 decades, has been appointed as the CEO and Managing Director of the company for a period of 3 years from 2nd October 2019 until 1st October 2022. I take this opportunity to also thank my fellow directors and the board for their inspiration, strong support, active participation and guidance extended to me and the management team. On behalf of the board of directors and everyone at Tata Elxsi, I thank you all for your continued trust, encouragement and support to the company and its management. Please stay safe and help others in your community to stay safe in this difficult period, which I am sure will pass. Thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, before we commence the e-voting, with the consent of the shareholders, the notice convening the meeting be taken as read. Let me inform that in compliance with the provisions of the Companies Act 2013 and the relevant rules made thereunder and Regulation 44 of the SEBI Regulations 2015, the company had provided to the members the facility to exercise their right to vote at the 31st Annual General Meeting by the electronic means, remote e-voting. However, for the benefit of shareholders who have joined the meeting through video conference and have not cast their votes through remote e-voting, the company has facilitated e-voting during the AGM through the NSDL portal. The icon for e-voting is available on the screen, which will redirect you on a separate window to the e-voting portal of NSDL. In case a shareholder has already cast his or her vote through remote e-voting, then such a shareholder should not cast his or her vote through e-voting now, as such vote will be considered as invalid. Mr. V. Madan, practicing company secretary, has been appointed as scrutinizer for scrutinizing the e-voting process in a fair, transparent manner. The auditors have given an I would now like to call the name of the shareholders who have pre-registered themselves with the company one by one to post their questions, queries, and guidance. In case of any technical issues with the particular shareholder, the next shareholder who is in the queue will be called. The said shareholders can rejoin after the technical issue is sorted out. The moderator will unmute the audio and video once the shareholder name is called. They may kindly wait for 30 seconds for the video to get activated. The shareholder who are posing their questions are requested to please indicate their names, folio number, or client ID in the beginning, and I shall reply to all the questions. As we have to give opportunity to other shareholders, I would earnestly request each of you to restrict your query to 3 minutes maximum. So with that, let me start the question and answer session. May I now invite the first speaker, Dr. Arun Kumar Bopanna. Dr. Bopanna, please.
Can you hear me, sir?
Yes,
hello.
Sir. Very nice seeing you. Very nice seeing you. We are able to see you. We are able to hear you loud and clear.
Namaskara, Vanakkam, sir. I'm happy to join this AGM. More happy you're all in good form. First thing first, thanks to Vaidyanathan, Kaveri and Pallavi for setting the video conference for me. Many thanks to them. Sir, in the last 50 years, we have seen so many technological changes, but sadly now we landed in COVID dangers. I am glad you handled with zero damage to the staff and the stakeholders, and I am very proud of the management for having done so much of CSR activities. Now the question, sir, what are the innovations in drones delivery in supply chain? So where is this your program years? System applicable commercially? How much turnover can we expect in that? What is the progress in portable dialysis kits, devices to heal wounds much faster? Developments in connected car technology and EV charging, etc. Autonomous cars are computer on wheels, sir, actually. So what is the development in that? And what are the developments in smart car parking? Development of cognitive real-time analytics in detection of emotions of automotive industry. What are the new data seen in analytics with big data analytics with intelligent solutions in communication automotives? So there is urgent need in artificial intelligence, blockchain, IoT. What is Tata Elxsi action in that? That will be the drivers for next gen for Tata Elxsi, I'm sure. So now the latest thing is design thinking is in vogue in boardrooms. What is Tata Elxsi's action? Sir, with economic, will the global economic port shift from China to India now? Chairman, sir, your comments and opportunities on this. And what are the innovations from Tata Elxsi for contactless transactions in banking? And what is the pie of each of these three verticals, sir? Automotive, medical and healthcare, and media and broadcasting. And what are the efforts on renewable energy? Because there is significant future in renewable energy. When the sun does not shine and wind does not blow, will the private sector put on big boy pants and perform? There is so much left out to deliver in technology, sir. So much history to be made. I wish Tata Elxsi all the best. In conclusion, sir, with COVID, one flower is our garden, sir. One friend is our world. Luckily for me, Tata is a family. I have Tata family as the whole world. I wish you all the best. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Dr. Bopanna. Very well said. And there's a lot of questions. We'll try and answer all of it at the end. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. May I request that we move to the second speaker, H.S. Patel. Shri H.S. Patel, please.
Hello.
Hello.
Hello. Yes, ma'am.
Hello. Are you able to hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you. Mrs. Patel, please
Thank
go
you.
ahead.
Thank you. Respected Sir, Mr. Subramanian, Mr. Manoj Raghavan, sir, our lady, Mr. Shamla Gopinathan, Mr. Ankur Verma. Here, I appreciate a very good morning to all of you. I would like to appreciate Mr. Vaidyanathan, our company secretary, and Pallavi, who has helped me a lot. But I did not receive any help from Renuka, or I do not know what's the other girl's name. I did very hard to contact her, but she was absolutely unapproachable. She never even tried to ring me. Anyway, this is a very well planned and well laid out annual report, and very easily accessible. I thank the Secretariat Department and the Finance Department for this. So, our Mr. Madhukar Dev sir has taken our company to very great heights. Has increased of the customer base of our company. The company is dealing with design and technique service for production, engineering and solutions. Madhukar Dev has retired. Sir, I would like to know who has come in his place. Is it Mr. Manoj Raghavan?
Yes, ma'am.
Is it Mr. Manoj Raghavan?
Yes, Manoj Raghavan has taken over as the MD and CEO from Madhukar Dev.
Congratulations, Mr. Raghavan, and I wish you all the best. And now I would like to put some few questions. So, as regards the electric vehicle is concerned, what does Alexis stand on this electric vehicle? If you can throw some light. Your CSR activities have been very good. Indeed, it's very notable, as you have even informed us in your speech. The CSR activities has been very good by the company. 582.41, so company has already spent more than that. Tata Sons is holding 42.22% shares in the company, and Tata Investment is holding 2.30 shares. Just throw some light on it. So the company provides it is a very good, consistent dividend-paying company. But sir, the share price today was 940 approximately, and we have received a dividend of 1650. It is only a 1.83 dividend yield given by the company. Company's revenue and sales have gone up, but PAT and EPS and earnings have come down. Please throw light on this also. So what is the cost, revenue and profit per employee? I would also like to know, are there any patents or copyrights of the company? So on page 114, you mention as incubation agreement between three parties. Incubation agreement between three parties, 114, and Prudence investment company has made of 1 rupee. What is this business model and how does it help Alexi? So our US business has fared well this year than that of last year, but our Europe business has which flourished last year has not come up to that level this year. Could you please, why is it so? If you can just throw some light. So company's expenses incurred, especially those mentioned on page 98. Travel, consultation, fees, insurance, advertisement has gone up than that of last year. So, on the board, we are very thankful to the learned and eminent board of directors sitting on the board and taking the company to great heights. Mr. Madhukar Dev is also not there, and Ankur Verma has come. Are there not other people from other regions coming over here? And Tata Elxsi is indeed a Tata company. Are there no Parsis on the board? Even management team is not there. Even on the board of directors also, there seems to be no Parsis. Anyway, the company is doing quite well. I trust your chairmanship, and definitely the board of directors will take the company to great heights. Thank you very much.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll move on to the next speaker, Shri Ravi Shankar Bomakanti.
Yeah, good afternoon. Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. Good afternoon.
Yeah, first of all, I would like to thank the board of directors and the entire management team for their vision and leadership to bring Tata Elxsi to what it is today, a very well-respected name. So, first of all, thank you very much, sir. And as a shareholder, I'm actually a shareholder in both Tata Elxsi as well as TCS. So, my question is actually in two parts. What is the overlap of services between Tata Elxsi and TCS, and how do we deal with that overlap? And secondly, what is it that we are doing in terms of, positioning ourselves in the market as well as from a strategy point of view to differentiate Tata Elxsi more and more from TCS? So those are the two parts of my questions.
Thank you, sir. Is there any other question from you, or can I move on to the next speaker?
Yeah, you can move on to the next shareholder. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, sir. We'll come back to you. Shri Naveen Botra.
Hello.
Good afternoon, sir. Please go on.
Good afternoon, sir. Very good afternoon to respected chairman, Mr. MGS sir, MD, Mr. Manoj Raghavan, and the distinguished board members and management team of Tata Elxsi. At the outset, we congratulate the management for a good set of operating results in financial year 19-20 as well as in the first quarter also. Very good set of numbers is given. So congratulations to the team. I request the chairman sir to kindly outline our policy for the capital allocation, because in the last 5 years we have built our cash and cash equivalents from 133 crores to roughly 650 crores in the last around 5 years. So that is 5 times. Whereas our return on equity at the end of March 2015 was 36%, and it has come down to 24% this year. Even though our profits have gone up from 100 crore approximate to 250 to 60 crores, but our return on equity has gone down substantially, and it is impacting the valuations of the company in the market, and market cap has remained in the same space of 5,000 to 6,000 crores in the last 4 to 5 years. So we would like to know from you in detail what is companies, as you have already in your opening remarks that we will be doing inorganic or organic growth. But when we see the organic growth, we don't need more than 25 to 30 crores rupees per year. In the last 5-6 years, we are investing 25-30 crores only. See, the cash thrown by the business is much more than that. We are earning around 30 to 35 crores from bank interest. So what is the management's policy about the inorganic growth opportunities going ahead, so that the company again enters a good growth cycle? So if you can throw some more light about the capital allocation policy vis-a-vis organic or inorganic growth. My second thing is about the virtualization. Everything is going virtual, from the AGMs, board meetings, virtual games to virtual exhibitions. Everything is going virtual. Even election rallies and all these things are going virtual. So we have a good asset from very long time, VCL lab. So how we are positioning our company to capture all these virtualization opportunities which uh, we are going to capture. And my couple of suggestions regarding the investors in the last one and a half years, we have improved the investor interactions a lot, and the investor presentations and fact sheet is also detailed. Quite a lot of improvement is there. We appreciate that much very much. But since our around 90% of our turnover is coming from forex exports, we are providing only the numbers in rupee terms. So if we can start giving some summary of in the dollar terms, so that will help the investor community at large. And I think the if we see the mutual fund and insurance companies, they are not more than 3% invested in our company, whereas in other Tata companies, mutual funds and insurance companies are 15 to 20%. This is our strategy regarding the more institutional participation in our company's capital. And the R&D expenses we are seeing in the absolute terms, these are around 22 to 23 crores for the last 5-6 years. So what percentage has come down from 2% to 1.4% this year. So if you can throw some more light how we are planning the R&D expenses and in which areas. So in summary, we can say that we have capabilities, we have competencies, we are a design technology-led company. We have a lot of platforms, and platforms are having good potential in the automotive or say media space. We are having good platforms. But how we want to scale up, and we have also cash. So what is stopping us from scaling up to the next stage? And so that's and one thing about the Panasonic that partnership, if we can throw more light how that is going, because in the last 2 years we have not heard much after the announcement of the Panasonic partnership. So one more suggestion is regarding we are already giving quarterly audited results. So it is, even though it is not mandatory, we can start with cash flow and balance sheet also in the quarterly results, because already the accounts are audited. So it will be helpful for the investor community. And lastly, I thank very much to the secretarial team, Mr. Vaidyanathan ji, Kaveri ji, for coordinating smooth this video conferencing. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Appreciate your comments. We'll come back to you on all these questions. At the end, I will try to answer. We'll move on to the next speaker, Mr. Harsh Visharia. Mr. Visharia, please.
So, hello, my name is Harsh Visharia and my client ID is 033-56902. So basically I have three queries. Okay, so basically I have three queries. So my first query is regarding Tata Group's vision to streamline companies, as we saw in the consumer division of Tata Chemicals was merged into Tata Global Beverage. So similarly, do we see TCS merger with TCS? So I just wanted to ask, has the management already discussed the issue and rejected the idea, or you are yet to discuss on this issue? So my second query is regarding cost cutting measures. In the balance, in the profit and loss statement, I see 68 crores as overseas traveling expenses. So I just wanted to know, is there any room for saving these costs? In today's result, I believe that you have done cost cutting. And my third query is regarding cash on the balance sheet, which is 660 crores. So I believe there is sufficient buffer of cash. So just wanted to know, how does the management plan to utilize this cash? So that's all from my side. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We'll go to the next speaker, Mr. Dinesh Kotecha, please.
Sir, we do not have Mr. Dinesh connected today.
Okay, so we'll move to the next speaker, Mr. Rudresh Kalyani. Mr. Rudresh Kalyani, please.
So Mr. Rudresh also has been unable to connect. We can move to the next.
Okay. Can we have Berus Puredehi, please?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Mr. Beru speaking. Yes, sir. Respected chairman and other directors, my name is Behruz Faramroz. Sir, at the outset, we are very happy with the performance of the company, but we would like to know who is our competitor in the same field and whether we are having any related party transaction with TCS. We would like to know because under section 188 and 189 you are supposed to maintain a register and that should be made available to this at least for inspection. If e-inspection is also made available, it is well and good. So also regarding your this employees, I would like to know how many employees are covered under section 197 drawing salary more than 1 crore. Because nowadays in pandemic all the salaries are going down, but only in IT company they are increasing the salary and giving what you call bonuses and performance. So we would like to know how much cash reserve we have in our company and how we are going to utilize that cash reserve and when you are going to declare bonus. Because Ramadura was there as a director and the company used to always take care of the shareholders. But I think Mr. Now new chairman has come, he is not taking care of the shareholders. Only 1650, that is a very meager amount for a share like more than 1000. Now it is hovering round about 950. So we would like to know in how many countries we are operating and in India how many plants we are having, only in Bangalore or we would like to know whether you are having somewhere else also. So whether you are plant at Whitefield and we would like to know. Now Manoj Raghavan has taken over whether our company has any what you call bright future and what is the roadmap going forward. And what is the organic and the inorganic expansion we are going for? Whether we have any plan to take some new companies which are available cheap now. So we support all your resolutions and we wish our company. We want to thank the secretarial department, Pallavi Dharekar, who has taken great initiative in contacting us. So why you are not connecting with the WebEx platform? This Computerix platform is actually very what you call cumbersome. You are not able to connect properly. So NSDL platform we have already voted and we wish our company all the very best and we hope to see better day ahead.
I'm giving it to my wife.
I am now giving to my wife Homayun Puredehi.
Hello, sir. I'm the next speaker.
Yes,
So can you hear us? Yes, just a few questions. It's a great privilege to be a part of this AGM, sir. Sir, I want to just ask a few questions. So, are your clients from the films and the film industry? And sir, during the lockdown, sir, how many clients were continuing to be with you all? And how has lockdown affected our profits? So were your employees operating from home? So because they could not come to office because the ours is not considered an essential services or essential commodities. So we also want to know what are your new innovations? What are your new innovations? So and we of course we can't receive our annual report. We understand this year and we being senior citizens, it's very difficult to go through all the pages of annual report. So, and just one more wanting to draw your attention about this Computerix platform. So, see, my video is not coming. And same thing had happened in Bombay Dyeing. That's why I know about this Computerix platform. We wish our company all the best. And of course, we are looking forward to very good profits and a bright future. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, Mrs. Pardehi.
Welcome, sir. Yes.
We'll move to the next speaker, Mr. Shailesh Mahadevia.
Sir, we don't have Mr. Shailesh connected, sir.
Okay. Can we move on to the next speaker, Mr. Deepankar Purkayastha. Mr. Deepankar, please.
Mr. Deepankar, you are connected?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, we are able to hear you. Please go ahead.
Okay. So first of all, as a non-Bangalore based shareholder, I'd like to thank you all for having electronic or digital format. And I would request that in future, the Board Affairs permitting, this follows so that the non-Bangalore shareholders can continue to join in these meetings. Now coming to the questions, I've got 4 questions. There is an item in the P&L, consultant fees for software development, 72 crore. And this item is more than 25% of the company's net profit. So as a company which is a software company with a headcount of 6,577 professionals, I don't understand what is the work which these do. And more importantly, how does the company deal with the issues of security and client confidentiality by outsourcing so much work to these consultants? If you can just explain to me. Another shareholder already raised overseas travel, which is 68 crores. Again, more than 25% of the profit, net profit, more than 25%. So I'm sure with the COVID-19 travel restrictions which were enforced this year and continue to be enforced this year, you will be saving some costs. So can we have an idea how much the company would be saving overseas travel? Like with so much of work for home, is the company planning to surrender or not renew or lease agreements or renegotiate these agreements on office premises? And how much do you think would be the savings on this account? Final question is that China is the world's largest annual report says, and the automotive business accounts half of your company's revenues. So how much is the revenue that the company got from the Chinese automotive business in FY 19-20? And do you expect to see any hit to these revenues in the current year because of the strains which have developed in the India-China relationship? So those are my questions. Thank you and good day.
Thank you, sir. I will move to the next speaker. Mr. Kailash Mohan Rastagi, please.
Sir, we do not have Mr. Kailash connected today.
Oh, you're not connected? Okay. So we'll move on to the next speaker, Mr. Ravi Kumar Naredi, please.
Good afternoon, management, Tata Elxsi team and fellow shareholders. My first question is, the company is providing software to Great Wall Motors. So is there any impact of the deal or any kind of problems we are facing due to the ongoing problems between the two countries? My second question is, in new deals or orders, are we facing any pricing pressure from customers? My third question is, what is the current mix between auto, healthcare and communication in revenue percentage? And what changes you are expecting in 2 to 3 years in revenue mix of diverse segments? My fourth question is, are we doing any work on regarding airports, railway stations and smart cities or any kind of development in the country? My last question is, recently TCS opted for work from home policy, in which their vast majority of 75% of employees globally will do work from home by 2025. So what is your take on that? Thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. The next speaker we have is Saraf Bharati.
सर आप सुन रहे हैं मेरे को? मेरी आवाज आ रही है सर?
Yes, sir.
सर मेरी आवाज आ रही है?
हाँ जी, हाँ जी.
ठीक है सर. हाँ, माननीय चेयरमैन साहब, उपस्थित निर्देशकों के सदस्यगण और मेरे शेयर भाइयों बहनों जो वीडियो के प्रेजेंट है, सभी को मेरा नमस्कार. सर बैद्यनाथ बाबू को विशेष नमस्कार. স্যার কেমন আছেন? ভালো আছেন তো আপনি? হ্যাঁ, আপনাকে আর দেখতে পাই না, আপনার হাসি দেখতে পাচ্ছি, চেহারা দেখতে পাচ্ছি না স্যার। হ্যাঁ, আপনাকে বিশেষ নমস্কার। আপনার সঙ্গে খুব দিন আগে দেখা হয়েছিল, संजोग দেখা করতে পারিনি, आज तो कभी सामने मुझसे देखा होगा। सबसे पहले मैनेजमेंट को धन्यवाद दूंगा बहुत अच्छा रिजल्ट देने के लिए। है इस पैंडेमिक सिचुएशन में भी आपने इतना अच्छा डिविडेंड दिया और सारे 16 में जो % आपने जो ये अनाउंस किया डिविडेंड, ये बहुत अच्छा है। लेकिन मेरी इसमें एक रिक्वेस्ट है कि डिविडेंड और ज्यादा आप दे सकते थे, कि अपने को डीडीटी अब नहीं लग रही है। दूसरा सर, क्या कोई अपना ये टाटा टीसीएस के साथ में टाटा एलेक्सी को मर्ज करने का प्रोग्राम है? तो अगर मर्ज करते हैं तो दो कंपनी को चलाने का जो खर्चा है वो काफी कम हो जाएगा मेरे विश्वास से। तो इसके पहले मैं एक चीज कह देता हूँ आपको कि मैंने पहले मेल भेज दी है, कोई कारण से नेटवर्क के कारण लाइन डिस्कनेक्ट होती है तो उस मेल को मेरा आपके सामने प्रेजेंट किया और समझिएगा। सर एक तो इक्विटी कैपिटल का है 15 टाइम रिजर्व है सर, काफी अच्छा रिजर्व है। तो कोई अभी बोनस देने का प्लानिंग है इस साल तो बताइएगा, और अगर बोनस देने का प्लानिंग आपका नहीं है सर तो मैं आपको आशा करता हूँ एक हैप्पी डिविडेंड करीबन 200-300 रुपया पर शेयर का अनाउंस कर दीजिए सर, क्योंकि अपने को आपको कंपनी को डीडीटी भी नहीं लग रहा सर। तो इससे कि स्मॉल शेयर होल्डर है उनको सर एक तो ये जो अपने काइंडली लेट मी नो व्हाट इज द क्लाइंट कंस्ट्रक्शन टू रेवेन्यू टू टॉप क्लाइंट एंड अप टॉप 5 क्लाइंट, व्हाट आर देयर परसेंटेज इन आवर टोटल इनकम इन फाइनेंशियल ईयर 2019 एंड 20। सर नाम नहीं चाहिए, उनकी परसेंटेज क्या अपने को है कंसेप्ट है इन रेवेन्यू उसका बताइए सर। दूसरा सर, एक अपने टोटल एम्प्लॉय 6577 है सर, उसमें जो हैंडीकैप है 8 है। मैं समझता हूँ कि ये सीमा बहुत कम है सर, क्योंकि आज देखिए हैंडीकैप एम्प्लॉय इंडिया में काफी हैं और काफी अच्छा काम कर रहे हैं। आपको ध्यान होगा 2-3 साल पहले आईएसए में जो मैडम फर्स्ट हुई थी वो भी हैंडीकैप थी। इसके अलावा से आपको ध्यान रखना चाहिए अभी जो पैरामेडिकल हो रहे हैं उसमें भारत का नाम इंडिया के जो जनरल है उससे हैंडीकैप वाले ज्यादा नाम कर रहे हैं और गोल्ड ज्यादा जीत रहे हैं। तो मैं आशा करता हूँ कंपनी आप जैसी कंपनी सोशल कंपनी से कि उनको कहीं बढ़ावा देने का चांस करे और जहां जगह उनको कंपनी करने का चेष्टा करने सर। एक मिनट सर रहिए। दूसरा सर, एक चीज मेरे को बताइएगा सर कि इस साल अपने जो अनक्लेम शेयर हैं क्योंकि आपने रिपोर्ट जो एलओडीआर के रेगुलेशन देनी थी वो नहीं दी है सर, तो इस सर कितने शेयर अपने जो है अनक्लेम अकाउंट में पड़े हुए हैं वो बताइएगा सर। एक सर पेज नंबर 71 के अंदर में काफी डिस्प्यूटेड केस पेंडिंग चल रहे हैं, तो कैसे विवाद से विश्वास या सत्य विश्वास का जो गवर्नमेंट की स्कीम लॉन्च की है उसमें क्या अपने सेटल कर सकते हैं, इसका भी ध्यान रखिएगा सर। एक सर मेरा सजेशन है, आपने जिन नेताओं जो डायरेक्टर लोग दिए हैं, लेकिन सर जहां जगह
Mr. Saraf, we are not able to hear you.
Mr. Saraf, are you still connected with us? It appears to be that Mr. Saraf may have lost connection.
Okay. All right. So I think with that we have come to the end of the question sessions of all the shareholders who have been registered. So let me now move on to provide some of the responses to the questions that have been asked. So again, I want to start by thanking all of you for joining this AGM remotely. And while I must admit that I miss meeting some of you in person when we used to have these meetings at the St. John's Auditorium in a physical manner. First is the question from Dr. Arun Kumar Bopanna. I think there are a lot of questions that you have asked, sir. So, I'll try and answer some of this. The regulations with respect to drones are still evolving, and for a global commercial use, while a number of them have launched in some use cases, we are working with many of our customers and partners, specifically in the area of disaster response, because where, the situation and the provisions are very clear. So barring that, the technology itself is something that we are mastering, and we will be in a position to leverage when the regulations are clear and then eased up. And with respect to ERs, this is still an early science, and I think again, we are tracking the developments on this technology, and also find potential applications and use cases in cars to understand the driver state and so on and so on. Again, here also the regulations and how it's going to play a role is going to be very important. In terms of dialysis kit devices, we are working with leading corporations, innovators in their development. They have reached some clinical trials, and we continue to work with them in areas that we are able to contribute to them. Electric vehicles is driven by 4 key trends: connected, autonomous, shared electric. We are working with customers in 4 areas and selectively investing in developing solutions and intellectual property so that it is relevant to us and relevant to our customers. Smart car parking requires a technology both in car and in the parking areas, and I think we have some good solutions. We are able to deploy some of this to our customers and partners through partners. Cognitive real-time analytics and detection of emotions, I think it's related to the ERS platform, which I think we have already answered. I think, we have probably, you may have read our announcement with the Tata Motors in enabling IoT for cars, especially on the analytics of data is a natural application of this connectivity. And these are still evolving, and as we speak. AI, blockchain, IoT, all are areas of interest for us. We have trained our people in those digital technology skills. We are in the mode of investments in all these areas, and there are several use cases is something that we have worked on, but real-time productive use, specifically in the areas of automotive industry as well as medical devices and communication areas, is something that we are working to navigate. Design thinking is actually part of, is fundamental part of our design business. And we actually start with the design thinking sessions with our customers, and it's a part of Tata Elxsi's culture much before it is adopted by many other players. We are a design-led technology company and believe that our design thinking sessions, the way that we conduct these sessions, drive the results out of the design thinking sessions, is a key differentiator for us as we hear from our valued customers. The global economic pole shift, I think it is going to be something that we will have to watch, and we are not directly affected by it or involved by it, because most of our customers are from the major markets of North America and Europe. While their supply chains may get shifted, we see some movement in the R&D and manufacturing for multinational companies. But we'll have to wait and see how it evolves and how it pans out from a technology spend perspective, because while supply chains may get shifted, the technology spend is still controlled in their home markets in their corporate headquarters and rather than local markets. Contactless transactions and contactless experience is a big effort, big thing, especially due to the pandemic situations. And there are design thinking sessions we conduct to our customers in terms of converting their branch offices or showrooms into a contactless experience. There is some efforts that's going on right now. Automotive contributes about 45% of our revenue today. Medical healthcare division is about 8%. We started into it roughly about 6 quarters ago. And media and broadcast contributes to about 35%. That's our revenue mix today. Renewable energy is a big thing, but we are currently focusing on our efforts on electrical vehicles. Right. Then Mrs. Patel asked a number of questions. I want to thank her for the appreciation of the annual report. I think we took special care because this is something it's going out of as a digital effort. So we put in navigations so that as you go through it in your computer or laptop, you will be able to navigate it easily. So I'm glad that you noticed it, and thank you so much for this. And I think, we are working in various aspects. I think electric vehicles is something that I already talked about. And our promoter shareholding you mentioned, I think that's the numbers are correct, and they are a very, they stay safe and they stay committed to our company. And then there was a question on revenue revenue and sales have gone up, whereas profit and has declined. And essentially, it is due to the, as I mentioned in my speech, there is a significant macroeconomic weakness that we witnessed in both trade, Brexit, and all the other aspects, and as well as the investments that we are making in the areas of digital. Plus, some of our customers, really the top 3 in the automotive segment, is going through a rough weather for the last several quarters. And in that context, that we need to retain the talent, retain the contextual experience that we have, and at the same time, address the aspects related to staying relevant to their customers. So, in that context, our margins have come down in the last financial year. The company has put in a rigorous operational excellence program, and you have seen the results of it already in the first quarter results. Investments in incubation model and the way that we are looking at is, we are not actively participating, or our objective is not to invest in these incubators. These are programs to encourage entrepreneurial spirit in youngsters that we see as we hire them, or as we go to the campuses we used to hire. And someone has an idea and they want some help, and we are doing it as an effort to encourage them. We give them certain office space, we give them certain mentorship and program management type of experience, and asking them to, and actually advising them to go about it in a systematic manner with respect to their entrepreneurial venture that they are starting. So it's a kind of a startup that we are encouraging, more as a service, and our interest is not to really go and invest fairly in the beginning of this venture. Then US actually, going up is part of our diversification strategy that we had put in place over the last 6 quarters. The US market is doing well, it is growing. At the same time, Europe, we have kind of moderated growth was there in this year, predominantly due to the challenges due to Brexit and downturn of the automotive industry of our clients based in Europe. And I think we have a very good professional set of people in our board, and I value their contribution, and they have been immensely active in participating and guiding the company and the management team. So thank you very much for your observations, Mrs. Patel. Then I'll move on to the questions from Mr. Ravi Shankar Bomakanti. Overlap of TCS and TL, there are certain areas that there are overlaps, but I think, our positioning is very clear. We are a design-led company. We are building specialization towards an end-to-end design for products, specifically in the automotive segment, as well as medical systems, devices, and communications and broadcast industry. These are three verticals we have chosen. In these three verticals, I think we have an enviable set of talent, enviable set of frameworks, knowledge, and that is very valued by our customers. In that sense, that it is quite differentiated in these three segments from what TCS is offering. But having said that, it is not just TCS. We look at our positioning to be very distinct and differentiated with every one of the competitors that we face in the marketplace. I'll move on to the questions asked by Sri Naveen Botra. I think, it was about questions on return on equity and it's impacting the valuation, plans for organic growth, etc. Essentially, I think we have taken note of your observations, Mr. Botra. I think, we will we'll take into account your observations and we'll work towards improving those ratios. And our policy for capital allocation has been quite clear, and it is well published and articulated. And we have been very conscious of returning unused cash that we have to the shareholders. And whether our dividend policy, a dividend payout, and the bonus issues that we issued a couple of years ago, all of them are consistent with the capital allocation policy that we have put in place. I think the company is really prepared very well to manage the virtualization thing that you talked about. More than 96% of our employees are enabled to work digitally. In the last 3 months, we have been able to win new customers by engaging with them digitally, by selling to them digitally, and also contracting work digitally. And our employees are also working from different locations, joined, and by leveraging the collaborative technologies that we have rolled out as per our work remote policies. And then, we will continue to position ourselves strongly in that digital workplaces as it emerges. I'm glad that you appreciated the improvements that we have made in the in our disclosures and our reach out to the investors. Your ask for dollar terms and also presenting cash flows and balance sheets on a quarterly basis is something that we will look at. We will continue to improve ourselves and reach out to the institutional investors to articulate our vision, our strategy, and past performances, and to attract them as shareholders for us or to invest them. And overall, our capabilities, competencies, and creating platforms is a huge effort that we are going through. And I agree with you that we are a small scale player at this stage on these three things, and one of the strategies our new CEO, Mr. Manoj Raghavan, is putting in place is to see how we can scale our business beyond the current levels. The Panasonic partnership that you asked about is also doing well, and it is I think it will scale in the coming year. The next one is the question from Mr. Harsh Visharia. The questions on merger with the TCS, I think, is something that we have not debated, we have not discussed it. We are, as a company, we are always focused on doing our bit to and continue to grow our business in the select segments that we have. We have a very strong portfolio of services. We continue to improve them, and if the merger with TCS is something that is certainly not discussed or not something that I've heard, and if at all anything that happens, that our board of directors will consider it on merits, and then we will come back to you on this. Our cost-cutting measures is our operational improvement, as we call it, is very much in place, and we have been taking those steps. You could see those results already in the Q1, as I mentioned. 68 crores of overseas traveling expenses that we saw is pertaining to the previous financial year. The COVID situation and the work from home or remotely certainly means that, travel expenses have come down. But in our business, manpower cost is the significant cost, followed by travel costs and facilities costs. So these are all things that are being reviewed clearly on an ongoing basis. The next question is from Mr. Berus Prodehi as well as Mrs. Humayun Prodehi. I think, our competition, we work across globally in different industries, specifically in the automotive segment, medical segment and communication segment, as I articulated. We compete with companies that are international as well as local in those countries. Related party transactions are with the TCS. The register is available. We work at an arm's length. It's continuously on a quarter-on-quarter basis. We publish it, we audit it, and it goes through this, and it is at an arm's length as stipulated by law. How many employees have salaries above 1 crore?
We can share the statement.
Yeah, we can share the statement with you, and at this point in time, it's about 15 people.
Yeah.
15 people are in the overall company, is earning a little above 1 crore of the salaries. And then the cash reserves is something that we are, whatever we are having is according to our capital allocation policies. We have a very systematic way of keeping the cash for our future use or investment purposes, as well as return reasonably to our shareholders. And we will consider it for both organically investing it, and if there are any good opportunities that we see in the marketplace in the areas of interest to us, we will be open for looking at acquisitions. And then the next, I'll move on to the questions from Mr. Dipankar Purakyasta. Consultant fees for software development, these are typically people whom we hire as consultants for the part of executing projects on site, because sometimes we may have the people readily available in US or in Europe. Sometimes due to visa restrictions, we may not have those people readily available in our workplace. And in certain projects that we undertake, market knowledge, local regulatory knowledge, all these are essential. And to avail this, then we contract some of those people as a part of executing the project. And sometimes customers also say that, look, you will have to take some of these people, integrate them into the team, and so on, so on. We take some of those inputs and make them as a part of the project team. So they are as good as our employees, but on a contract basis. And as such, they will be subject to our code of conduct, ethics, security policies, data privacy, confidentiality of information, all of that. So they are very much part of it. The only thing is they are hired as a part of the project team on a contract basis. The overseas travel, I think I have already explained. And then while we are working with some of the Chinese auto companies, it's very negligible and it's not material at this point in time. The biggest one is a JLR, which we actually work with them in European context for their global technology use, right? So that's the questions from. And then the next question is from Mr. Ravi Kumar Naredi. The new deals, pricing pressures, etc., is something that is coming, but it's not something that we take it on face value and then we negotiate it where it is to be negotiated. We bundle our services against certain future commitments, etc. Overall, we are managing it, and as Tata Elxsi, our combined the packaged bundle that I talked about in my speech is very relevant to them, and we are clearly positioning ourselves in all of this. From rail and transport related work, we work with some of the leading rail companies and airports, but largely in the design work, right? And we are not getting into a lot of engineering work. We have started to work with design work and reimagine the passenger flows and things like that. You know, even for India, in a couple of railway stations, in things like Banaras and Pune, we have done some studies and submitted some reports on this. So it's more in the design areas that we are working. So we will hope to improve our presence in the transportation segment beyond the design to engineering services and as well as product development services. The work from home policy is something that we have holistically adopted, but our approach is one of making sure that we respect the safety of the employees at this stage. We do hope that we will bring the employees back, because a lot of our work involves design. A lot of it requires very high-end workstations to be available in the. They have to come to offices and then use those high-end workstations and connect to our customers and collaboratively. We have enabled some of it to our customers as well as our employees, but we do believe that our investments in facilities and computing capacity is of utmost importance. And when we bring back our employees back to our office facilities, we will definitely abide by the social distancing norms and the digital workplaces of the future. In fact, some of our facilities have already been modified and enhanced to cater to some of those requirements when people come back to our facilities, and we are hoping to welcome all of them pretty soon. And Mr. Saraf Bharati, he asked a number of questions, but towards the end I think he had dropped off and we couldn't get all these questions. So I will request the company secretary to speak to Mr. Saraf Bharati and then clarify some of his questions offline of this. So with this, I think I have answered all the questions. And there are also a couple of questions people, two people have sent in their questions by text messages and emails. The first one is from Mr. K.M. Gunny. He says that automotive segment, how much it is contributing. So it's contributing to about 45% to be precise. Should we not hold back on the cash during such a fluid situation, and should we, rather than distributing cash? So I think, thank you for your suggestions. I think we have taken all that into consideration, and the board used its judgment in defining the payout ratios. Total income has grown by 1.7% only. Employee benefit expenses have shot up by 12.8%. Why can't the hike be set to align with the revenue growth? The salary hike is in line with the industry trends and done in order to retain the talent and skilled employees. That was all in the past financial year. Due to COVID situation, in the current financial year, we have moderated the hikes. In fact, there is employee hikes have been completely deferred. And so, as CEO and the key management personnel have also volunteered to actually go with a bonus cut, as well as the salary has been kept at the same levels as the last financial year. Right? Europe likely to have negative impact for this, as was your question. So European revenues are fairly well diversified and broad based. We are making proactive attempts to win big projects in different service domains, and I think as a continent, a number of countries in Europe, they have managed to contain the pandemic, and any new areas, new countries which are coming, which are coming into this within the cities, they are able to quarantine it. They have a process to do it very significantly and doing it very effectively, and so on, so that we are seeing the borders are getting opened up. So there is hope, and we hope that Europe will turn around better in the coming quarters. As a mitigating strategy, as I mentioned, we have put together a diversification strategy over the last 6-7 quarters. We are focusing on medical devices, healthcare, and medical business unit to broad base the customer base as well as revenues. We are targeting a few accounts to win end-to-end large-scale projects as one of the strategies. And then continue to invest in building long-term relationships with our customers. Then one more question came. Some more questions came from Mr. Rudresh Kalyani. The non-executive directors are getting commission, and what we have to that question is, I think, to the tune of half of the CEO salary. I think, one is that since there was a CEO change, salary paid to CEO column reflected part of the salary for the part of the year. And in effect, I think the commission distributed for the non-executive directors for this year is less than the last year, given the company's performance and the current pandemic situation. So I am also thankful to the non-executive directors and all the directors for their understanding and voluntarily advising us in this regard. Looks like we haven't accounted for the shares transferred to the incubating companies. We have not incubated any company during the year, and company itself being in the software domain, why is it paying consultant fees? I think I have explained that. Observed 178 crores in current account, which is almost 70% of the PAT. Any particular reason for the same? These balances related to collections made in the last few days of the quarter and the year end due to the COVID-19 lockdown situation, and also to meet the maturing forex hedged transactions. These amounts were retained in the respective accounts. So I think with that, I have, in case of contingent liabilities, 210 lakhs to 310 into 31 crores, which mainly on account of income tax disallowance of certain expenses and claims. We have preferred an appeal with income tax authorities, and full of favorable results on that. Okay, I think we have fundamentally, I think we believe that we have a strong case. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you. I think with that, I believe that I have attempted to answer all the other, and most of the questions raised by our shareholders. If you have any further questions, please feel free to connect with the Secretarial Department, Mr. Vaidyanathan. He will be pleased to revert to you with the questions, with the answers for those questions. So let me move on to make my closing remarks. Ladies and gentlemen, the following resolutions are being proposed at this 31st annual general meeting of the company. Ordinary business. Number 1, to consider and adopt the audited financial statement of profit and loss for the year ended 31st March 2020 and the audited balance sheet as of that date, together with the cash flow statement and the reports of the directors and auditors thereon. Resolution number 2, to declare dividend on equity shares for the financial year 2019-20 as recommended by the Board of Directors. Number 3, appointment of director in place of Mr. Ankur Verma, who retires by rotation and is eligible for reappointment. With this, we come to the end of this meeting. In case there are any more queries that have not been addressed, you may please send an email to the company secretary with your details and queries, and the same will be answered appropriately. May I request all the shareholders who have not exercised the remote e-voting to cast their vote through e-voting. I hereby authorize the company secretary to carry out the voting process. Please note that the e-voting will be kept open for 15 minutes more to facilitate the shareholders to exercise their voting if not done earlier. The scrutinizer shall count the number of votes for and against the resolutions after downloading the same from the e-voting system of NSDL. The scrutinizer will then submit his report to the chairman, which will be put up on the website of the company and filed with the stock exchanges within 48 hours of the conclusion of this annual general meeting. Thank you all for joining us in this annual general meeting. I would like to thank all the directors, company executives, and the shareholders and our employees for joining this meeting remotely. Stay safe and stay healthy. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Dear members, as instructed by the scrutinizers, request all the members participating in the AGM and who have not casted their vote yet to cast their vote in the remaining period of 15 minutes. Thank you. Dear members, as advised by the scrutinizers, the time for e-voting has elapsed and they are of the view that all the members who are participating in the annual general meeting have been given adequate time and opportunity to vote at the AGM. And this concludes the proceedings of the AGM. Thank you all for participating in the Tata Elxsi AGM and e-voting. Thank you.